Welcome to my Imperial Talon reroll guide. In this video, I'll be going over the build, what items and augments to take, how to play before level 6, during level 6, then how to play after level 6, what you do if you get contested, then I'll go into some in-depth positioning examples. This is a slow roll comp, meaning that we win by getting Talon 3 stars and some other 3 stars as well. There are two different variations of the level 6 comp. The first one is this. Here we're running Talon as the main carry, Swain as the main tank, and Samira as an Imperial synergy bot. The rest of the assassins are secondary carries or support units. The other level 6 version is this. Here you have less damage and the comp is less explosive, but your frontline is a lot better in this one. Personally, I prefer the first version, but I have seen some people run this version with a decent amount of success, so I still want to include it. At level 7, you don't have anything amazing to add in, so unless you have +1 Assassin or Imperial, you will just add in Taric for Socialite or Blitzcrank for Scrap. For the other variation, you don't really have anything great to add in at level 7 either, so Taric or another bodyguard will generally do well there. At level 8, you will end up with this board if you're running the first variation, and you want to end up with this board if you're running the second variation. I want to note that the first version can also end up with this board at level 8 by replacing Samira with Scion. I'll go more in depth on which of these level 8 variations you want to run in different situations in the late game part of the video. Talon has two core items. The first one is RFC. This gives him a boatload of attack speed and also gives him another range so he can stay more safe, and also to make his attack range path not get blocked by other assassins walking in his way. His second core item is IE, as it makes sure that his spell and auto attacks always crit with the assassin trait. This increases our damage by a ton. The third item for Talon wants to be either Hodge, BT, Giant Slayer, QSS, or Last Whisper. Generally, you prefer to have a healing item as the last one to avoid him getting bursted down, but I have had success with triple offensive Talon, it's just less consistent. But if you get a healing augment or two, then go for triple offensive Talon. Both Hodge and BT as healing items work. The vast majority of Talon's damage is AD, so Gunblade is completely useless. Hodge also gives us more damage, which is nice, although this one is a little less consistent since it's a 50-50 on whether we're getting healing or not. Giant Slayer is great in lobbies with high HP targets. Last Whisper is great to not get stuck on tanks, and QSS makes sure that Talon does not get stopped and that he keeps attacking like the monster he's supposed to be. After we have itemized Talon, we want to itemize either Katarina or Shaco as a secondary carry. Katarina wants IE, a healing item with either Gunblade or Hodge, and the third item wants to be another damage item with either Spark or Deathcap. Shaco wants IE and a healing item with either Hodge or BT, then a third damage item with either Hurricane, Deathblade, RFC, or Last Whisper. We can also itemize Swain. He wants tank items like Bramble, Stoneplate, Dragon's Claw, Redemption, Warmogs, and Zezirat. You can also itemize Echo, throw support items on him like Frozen Heart, Morello, or Spear of Sojin. As you can tell, there are a lot of champions to itemize here, but the main priority is Talon. Then itemize whatever champion you're closest to 3-starring or have components for. If you get a spatula, you can make both Assassin and Imperial Spat. Both of these are great. With Assassin Spat, you can put it on Samira and place 6 Assassins at level 7. And with Imperial Spat, you put it on either Katarina or Shaco and drop Samira to play another unit. Going for 5 Imperial is not great as Scion takes up 2 slots, but if you are running the Scion version, then you can consider going for 5 Imperials. The best augments to take for this comp are Imperial Heart Emblem or Soul, Assassin Heart Emblem or Soul, Dual Rule, Celestial Blessing, Knife's Edge, Cutthroat, Featherweights, Thrill of the Hunt, All for One, Metabolic Accelerator, and Trade Sector. The best ones are definitely +1 Imperial or Assassins, as we get way more attractive options at level 7. The carousel priority for this comp is Bow, Glove, Sword, then Tier. Since this comp only consists of 2 and 3 cost units, we want to pre-level on 1-4 to get a chance to see 3 cost units, and also to get higher odds for 2 cost units. The best opener for this comp is to have an Assassin board with either Twitch or Talon carry. Other openers that work are Ezreal with Protectors, Assassins with any frontline, or Quinn with any frontline. Once we have our opener, we need to make items, but since this comp is relatively item dependent with both RFC and IE being core items, we don't want to slam suboptimal items for Talon or use components for any of his items. This means we don't want to slam items that use bow, glove, or sword, and we prefer to stay away from Tier and Cloak, as those build into Hodge and BT, but it's not as critical to save those components. This leaves us with Belt, Rod, and Chain. The good items to slam out of those are Morello, Deathcap, Warmogs, and Bramble. Since we can slam less items on stage 2, we generally want to play for a loss streak the vast majority of the time. However, a good assassin board with an early Talon carry can win streak without any items. If you go for a loss streak, the goal is to then go on a 6 loss streak until stage 3-2. If you're win streaking or mixed streaking, the goal is to be level 6 on stage 3-5 with 50 gold or more. Before then, you can level aggressively in the early game if needed, and you play stage 2 and parts of stage 3 as if you were playing any other traditional leveling comp. If you want to learn more about how to play the early game, check out my guide where I go in depth on the subject. After the Krugs round, you should have more direction towards a comp. The general requirements to play Talon is to have at least one bow for RFC and a component for IE. You also want to have an assassin board as it will make it a lot easier to stabilize at level 6 in the mid game. From there, you will hit level 6 in the mid game at some point, and then once you are at 50 gold, you start slow rolling at level 6. On stage 3-2, you can level to 6 to either keep the win streak, or if you lost streak during the early game, you can roll level 6 to stabilize. You generally want to hit the level 6 board or Talon 2-star plus some other 2-stars in order to be stable. Once you are level 6 with 50 gold, we start slow rolling, meaning we roll down to 50 gold every single turn. This is to maximize our odds of hitting 3-star units. Our 3-star priority is Talon, Swain, Katarina, Echo, then Shaco. This is the case if you're running the first version. If you're running the Protector version, then your 3-star priority is Talon, Swain, Echo, then Blitzcrank. We never go for Samira 3-star unless we got an Assassin spat on her. By stage 4-1, you will generally need to have at least Talon and Swain 2-star and most of the other 2-star units in order to be stable. And by stage 5-1, you will generally need at least 3-star Talon or 2 other 3-star units in order to be stable. Sometimes if you are healthy, you can greed it, but in general, you can go below 50 gold here in order to hit one of the 3-star units. Once you hit Talon 3-star, you will level up to either 7, 8, or 9 depending on how much HP you have. When you hit level 7, you don't have any great options without any augments, but in general adding in either Tarek, Blitzcrank, or another 2-star assassin unit works. The best outcomes are if you have +1 assassin or +1 Imperial. In that case, you can go for 6 assassins at level 7, or you can cut Samira to add in a double synergy such as 2 bodyguards if you have +1 Imperial. At level 8, what your board looks like depends on your augments. 2 great options that don't require any augments are 6 assassins or 4 assassins with protectors. There isn't that much you can do besides choosing between those 2 variations in this comp as it lacks a lot of flexibility, but you want to go with the 6 assassin version if you hit Swain 3-star, and you want to go with the Protector version if you hit Cyan 2-star, and Blitz 3-star also helps to lean you in that direction. 5 Imperial is not great as Cyan is pretty terrible without Protector or Colossus, and 5 Imperial only buffs Imperial units. This means that Shaco or Katarina 3-star are not getting any value out of that synergy, and Talon 3-star with the correct items will run through units pretty easily with just 3 Imperial. This video is being recorded on patch 12.1, so if you are on a later patch, 5 Imperial might be worth it if it gets buffed further or changed to buff your entire board. If you're able to high roll and make it to level 9 with a lot of gold, the most capped version of this comp looks like this. It requires a lot of gold, so you will not hit this in most games. If you get contested, what you do depends a little on how you get contested. You can get contested by somebody else trying to play the same comp, or you can get partially contested by people playing Syndicate Shaco. Getting contested by Syndicate Shaco is not great. We should still be able to hit Talon, Swain, and Katarina 3-star, but it will just take longer. It will also be hard to 3-star Echo and Shaco as the Syndicate player will be 3-starring those. In that case, this comp is less favorable to play, but if you get a good opener and good augments for it, you can definitely go for it. If you get contested by another reroll Talon player, things are not looking great. You have 3 options, and the first one is to use Talon as an item carrier and then pivot into another AD comp like Yone, Jhin, or Urgot. The second option is to partially contest and go for Syndicate Shaco. In that case, you have the option of choosing 3-star Shaco, or you can go level 8 and look for Akali carry and Syndicates instead. The third option is to contest, but know that you will most likely go 7th or 8th if you do this. To do this, you need to be farther ahead than your contester, and you also need to constantly be checking how close the other player is to hitting Talon 3-star as well. If he's starting to get close, you have to roll down in order to hit before him. General positioning with this comp looks like this. Samira is in the very back line to stay safe. Swain is on the 3rd row in the middle. This is to make sure the enemy frontline walk down onto our part of the board. And this also makes the entire enemy backline walk up as well and leave space for our assassins to land behind them. Talon and Katarina will usually want to be paired, meaning they are both on the same side. This is great as Talon can get through one target fast at a time, while Katarina will punish clumping as she will hit multiple targets with her spell at a time. Twitch is in the middle to not block the path of enemy assassins. Echo usually wants to be closer to the middle, as where he casts his spell has no impact on where he is positioned, and he doesn't deal that much damage with his auto attacks. Now moving on to some in-depth positioning examples. Against the first guy, the big threat is Jhin. Samira is getting hooked by Blitzcrank, Talon is jumping with Katarina, and Shaco and Akali are jumping the MF to avoid clumping and pathing problems over on the left side. Swain is pulled back to pull down the Sion and Braum into a board. Making Sion go far down is huge for us, as he will have less CC for our assassins with his spell. Against the second guy, the big threat is Kog'Maw. Talon is positioned to take out the snipers, all of the other assassins are positioned towards the right side to make sure there is space for Talon to land on the far left hex. Twitch and Echo are positioned furthest right to avoid pathing problems for our carry assassins. Samira is getting hooked by Blitzcrank, and Swain is pulling Kassadin further down, and also making the enemy melee units walk down as well. Against the third guy, the big threat is Lux and Victor. Talon is jumping the Lux with Katarina, while Shaco and Akali are jumping the Victor. Samira is positioned to make the Yuumi ult not hit Talon. Swain is positioned to draw the Vex further down to make sure our assassins don't walk up and target her instead of the backline. As you might be able to tell, a large part of positioning with this comp is picking the correct side to jump on. Therefore, it is crucial to scout so we can pick the correct side to jump on. Thank you so much for watching. If you learned something, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Comment down below what video you want me to make next, and if you want to get better at TFT, join the Discord. We got over 6,000 other players there who are hungry to climb. And if you want to get coached by me, the information is over on the Discord server as well. So take care and see you in the next video.